I have two documentaries that are playing on Pnnny right now. I really enjoyed them. I think you are too. There are a couple of hidden gems. Let's get to it. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Pnnny Report, episode number 4. This one we're doing documentaries here. I'm Coop, I'm your host. I'm one of the co-founders of Pnnny. We got a lot of documentaries, but I've curated down these two because the first one, I tell you what, it really just like bam, like hit me right in the old bread basket. You know, it like, oh wow, okay, yeah, you'll see what I mean. And then on the next one, it just kind of gave me some nostalgia tingles because it reminded me of my former career back when I was a scape artist. Yeah, I used to get out of a straitjacket and chase. It's a long story, but you guys stick around for that one. Anyway, first things first, let's do the first one. Sensitive, the untold story, also known as My Entire Life. This documentary was just a direct hit for me. It's from 2015, but the story really starts in 1991 with a doctor named Elaine Aron. She made this kind of breakthrough discovery and identified the trait of high sensitivity. Now, high sensitivity is something that affects 20% of the population. Okay, 1 out of 5 people, and both men and women equally. And what it is it's something where it affects your central nervous system and all of the stimuli that you perceive, everything, whether it's in a social situation or it's physical, it can be emotional, whatever it is, you take it all in. And then you intricately break it down, and you're very thoughtful about it, and you can see the patterns, all the facets of it and everything. And then when you're done, you react to it, right? And you react to it in a more sensitive way. And that can be in a positive way, or it can be in a negative way. And that, I think, is the interesting thing, whether you think this way or you don't think this way. I can tell you as somebody who does think this way that the people who have been sort of attracted to me and who I've either worked with or had a relationship with, they like the positive side of it because you're more creative. Or in business, you can like perceive a market and you can identify openings in the market because you're very good with the pattern recognition and seeing how everything is sort of connected. In a relationship, you can be more empathetic, and so your partner's like, wow, he really gets me. He really gets me. But then the negative side is that they start to be like, well, why do you have all this anxiety, or why are you worrying about this so much, or why are you so hard on yourself? You shouldn't be like that. And so, the people, they don't understand how the positive and the negative are really bound up with this thing, and that they totally work together. Here's Alanis Morissette talking about it in her life.
The way I describe like the package deal, that people want the positive side of the sensitivity, and then they want you to get rid of the negative side, and you can't get rid of it.
And Lord knows I tried. I thought, okay, so you don't like the feeling part, the intense feelings that I have. Okay, I'll be the needless robot that you want me to be. But of course, there was a great misperception of my approach to life as being, too high maintenance and too emotional and a lot of too much, too intense. And so I spent most of my life thinking that how I was a problem for people, yet at the same time I was getting the message that what it was that I was coming to specifically because of my trait, they wanted that. They wanted the outcome and the fruit of my trait, but they didn't want my trait. So it was an interesting combination of being loved for it and being rejected for it.
Okay, so that's the gist of it. It's a double-edged sword. I think you get the idea. If any of this resonates with you and you think, maybe you need to watch this film. You really do. Click the link in the description. Go watch it. If you're a new user, you get 2 hours free without having to put down a credit card. This is a complete free roll, man. You should watch this. If you know of anyone who thinks this way, if you're in a relationship with somebody, just watch the film. It's quite thoughtful. It's very well done. I just guarantee you will enjoy it. Let's do the next one. An Honest Liar 2014. It's a documentary about the amazing Randy, who, if you don't know who this dude is, this guy is a freaking legend, okay? He was a magician from probably the 50s to the 70s, but he was actually technically an escape artist, which is something I was. I used to be an escape artist. I actually made my living getting out of a straitjacket and 30 pounds of chain. I would dislocate my shoulders. I traveled around the world. I did a bunch of it was great. I started when I was like 18. I retired when I was like 31, which was like a couple of years ago. So it wasn't a couple of years ago, but you know, whatever. Anyway, this guy was amazing. He retired from being an escape artist at the age of 55 in the 70s, and then he kind of transitioned in the same way that Houdini did, and he started exposing charlatans. So in the 70s and 80s, man, it was a different era. It was simpler times. It was easier to get away with stuff back then. Okay, there's no internet. People weren't so smart back then. All right, so there was like faith healers, people that would they would have like chicken guts, and they would go with people who had like cancer. There's people like legitimately dying, and then they would go and they would do the operations, and they would pull out like fake chicken guts and go, aha, your cancer, I've healed you. There were people who would do something called channeling, which is they would pretend like they're getting some voices from some entity in a different galaxy. And he exposed Uri Geller, who was a magician, basically who he would bend spoons, and this guy Uri Geller had the government thinking that he was legit. This guy was like a straight up just 2-bit like magician who should be working in a restaurant, but the government was thinking that we were going to somehow do battle psychically against the Russians, using mentalism or so. It was madness. And so he was just like, he was a necessary person to have in that era to be like, no, 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 this is all fake. You're watching performers here. Like you don't know the difference. So an interesting guy. Let's run the trailer.
If I thought that any of this would be used, I would abandon the film entirely.
Gentlemen, I'm the Amazing Randy.
The Amazing Randy.
The Amazing Randy.
Ta-da!
A conjurer, prestidigitator, liar, cheat, and fake.
The life of Harry Houdini reads very similar to the life of James Randi.
If you're going to get your head cut off, you go to the best guy. Amazing Randy was the best guy.
Randy, you've been going around the country trying to debunk those who say that it's psychic power.
I can't think of that technical term. Oh, yes, bullshit.
What I do is bending or breaking objects.
Uri Geller fooled the pants off them. It was astonishing.
Bend. Look.
Can you do the spoon bending trick?
Does Dolly Parton sleep on her back?
Do you know how many times Randy tried to ruin my career?
You've been taking a lot of medication.
Peter Popoff is a very dangerous man.
In the name of Jesus!
Popoff just seemed to be able to hear the voice of God and know all about people.
John 3784.
We wondered how he got the information.
I dressed as a security guard.
I appeared in disguise.
Randy is trying to say, this is a big hoax.
Duh. I'll take 2 8x10.
That man that puts the fear of God into all those psychics. The Amazing Randy!
The easiest way to be bigger than yourself is to lie.
I was terrified.
A man who's devoted his whole life to uncover real deception has at the center of his life a deception.
Only one of these people is sworn to tell the truth.
What a situation. No matter how smart or well-educated you are, you can be deceived.
And that right there is an honest liar. If you're wondering what the great deception is, you're actually going to have to watch the film on Pnnny. Hey, but the good news is it's completely free, man. Everybody who signs up who's new gets 2 hours free. So click the link in the description, sign up, and watch the movie and find out. That's the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't know what Pnnny is the first pay-as-you-go streaming service of its kind. Now, what that means is you get to watch all the movies and TV shows without any advertising, but most importantly, without a subscription, right? You don't need a subscription because the idea of having to subscribe to something to watch a movie is, what is this, a gym? You know what I mean? It's a little silly, right? So that's just how we do it at Pnnny. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.